Today I'm gonna be working on this card that was here for some time, and for some reason it got shuffled with unrecoverable cases. I was just going through the box of them yesterday, seeing what needed to be shipped back to the clients and what could be completely just trashed. And I found it, and I think it needs a second opinion, second look. Like, usually I don't take the inspection step lightly, but I was reviewing my notes yesterday regarding this case, and I noticed something completely odd about what was written there. So let's revisit and check it out once again. Alright, so the desk is prepped. Let's see what we're working with. SanDisk body of a flash drive. I'm not sure exactly why it's housed into this like frame. There's something melted right there. The meter will tell us everything we need to know. So let's set this up. So this beep test will show us if we have any shorts on the VCC line. And we don't. It's open. Let's check, because I see I cut these masks in, so to make sure that connections are good. See, all the traces are good. Let's see what's going on with the interface. Maybe there's nothing wrong with the card at all. So this is just an adapter. It came with a multicom set, but this is designed for connecting what's in a socket from multicom into SD interface for Monolithic pinout research and things like that. So up here I have a schematic for SD protocol pinout. So that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna need some flux. So using the schematic, we just need to link up our wires to wherever they need to go, and we'll be all set. This is data 0. This is our ground. in my notes it says that it's got a short on the main VCC line. Yeah, it needs to do that, and we couldn't have done that before. Alright, so now slide this in. We're going to select SD card adapter for our source. I don't know how big this unit is, so that's probably where I could have maybe tested it. Let's power this thing on. What do we see? I see that the card is getting hung up on ACM D41 command and doesn't initialize. It's pretty basic, pretty normal for the card that doesn't communicate with an NAND properly and is stuck in busy state. There might be some damages there, but I don't see what the problem was. I really don't. And to solve this case, we're gonna need to use a couple of things. So I'm gonna grab one of these universal adapters. It's already got glue stuck on it. So in order to get access to what's on there, we're gonna need to use NAND protocol instead. We can't use SD or any other MMC type of protocol to get access to the data. So we're gonna use NAND protocol. And while I'll solder this stuff off, I'll explain what NAND protocol is and what it does for helping us get access to the content. So as you guys can see in here, in this view underneath the microscope, this card has one chip inside and nothing else. So this type of design of a card is called monolithic. Some brands out there make cards that are monolithic. Some brands of cards make surface mount design boards. So what's the difference between monolithic and a surface mount board? If you don't know, allow me to show you. A surface mount SD card will have a board that looks like this. It's got a circuit board, it's got surface mount components, and it's basically built on something like this. Parts are removable. Separate parts are removable. Controller can be removed for the most part. The NAND chip can be removed for the most part. The power, capacitors, resistors, everything that would be on there on the board can most likely be taken off. On monolithic devices, there is no such thing. On monolithic devices, you have one chip, so everything is based inside of this chip. It's like it all in one package, you know. With that being said, there are ways of connecting directly to the NAND chip. On surface mount devices, these things are done a lot easier because all we do is just remove the chip, and the chip is in a standard shape and form. It can later go into socket like this. It's got tiny needles at the bottom. It pierces pads. Well, not pierces, but it makes contact with pads on an already pre-routed adapter. So the adapter makes connection with PC3000 flash unit or any other programmer that we use, and it allows us to read NAND protocol directly off the chip. But in cases where there's monolithic design, not every monolithic design is the same. There are literally so many different types. Here's a micro SD in the monolithic form. Micro SD are always monolithic because, well, you can just tell it's a one-piece unit. But the design is always somewhat different. And certain manufacturers like to keep it consistent, like SanDisk, and that's really good because we don't have to wonder about different schematics and stuff. But for the most part, schematics on different brands are always different, and sometimes they're not released to public, and you need to develop your own. That makes the job a bit more difficult, more technical, and more time consuming. But this design here is a well-known design. SanDisk uses it for most of their cards. We're gonna wire it up. So instead of having needle spears connections, although those adapters do exist for this type of card, because again, these pads here at the bottom, they're technological test points, and they lead directly to some of the signals that we need to make connections with. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna mock up all of them that we need connections with, and wire them up. Actually, I made a slight mistake. Probably best would be just to cover all of it. As you can see on this one, the dots, these dots start all the way at the edge of this pad, but in here they start somewhat in the middle. So these two are gonna be skipped if we were to wire this card, but here we start with this one. Schematic for SD card like this can be obtained from vendors of the equipment. So if you're using PC3000 tools, you can get it on their website when you sign up. I've wired this card so many times by now that I should probably remember the schematic by heart, but I don't. So let's start with data bus. Assuming this is a 8-bit data bus, we have 8 pads at the start that will link to the interface. Let's zoom in and start wiring. So bonding these wires obviously is best done with a good equipment. It's gonna be tough to get it done if you don't have a good iron, and I use JBC for this job. So this is a D7, then it's gonna go to D6, then it's gonna go to D5. We're gonna do all the odd numbers first because they are on this side of the adapter, and all the commands that belong to this side of the adapter, and then I'll switch over to that side. Alright, so D3, and last but not least, for the commands for the bus side on the left is D1. Then up here we have CLE, WE. We're gonna wire those up as well. So CLE is first row G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that's that one. Boom. And same thing on the adapter side. So what we're doing right now, we're linking up these signals to where they go on the card. That makes sense? Okay, we gotta get right enable on I. So A, B, C, D, E, F, sorry, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, this one. Boom. Alright, and I ran out of wire. That's perfect timing. Now that we've finished this side, we flip it over and do the even numbers. So start off with the 6. then a 4, the 2, the 0. And we got C0, we got read enable, address latch enable, and busy, ready busy. So ready busy, and I need to read it this way. So ready busy is F, so on the second row, A, B, C, D, E, F. Next one is read enable, and it's right next to it. Address is H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, yeah, those. That's where it needs to be. WE, we have write protection. Install it right there. That's it. Oh, C0 is the last one. So that C0 is right there. So it took about an hour to read this chip for the second time. The first time was complete flop. Everything was damaged. Our B signal was on the wrong pad, so we were getting very, very bad read, and I had to redo it. But now things are looking bright. So this is what the device's content looks like just with the check ECC on. It's already quite green. I would say about 40% green as it sits. But then once we turn on the ECC, it just dips it all in green. So this should be very clean recovery, guys. I'm gonna keep this on off, go back and put this device through error correction. This is gonna take some time. On a device like that, I'd expect at least a couple hours for it to run, but that's normal, and the assembly is done on block number, so we can start getting the data out fairly quickly right after that. So here is the built up image. The tool I used in this specific case was DMDE. It's a very intuitive tool and a very powerful one as well. So if you are not familiar with DMDE, I highly suggest looking into direction of obtaining it. It does work magic, and in many cases it outperformed my favorites like RStudio and UFS Explorer. As you can see, the graphics folder alone is pushing nearly 5,000 files inside, and they do range from CR2, JPEG, and NEF. The thumbnails of the recovered images are all coming up, and they're problem free. That's pretty much it. All the things that I wanted to be covered in this video are covered. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode.